Welcome back. You're watching News Centre. Electric two-wheelers may become costlier from the 1st of June. The government has slashed the subsidies on electric two-wheelers under the FAME scheme. The incentive cap on these e-scooters have been reduced from 40% to 15% of the vehicle's ex-factory price. And the demand incentive on these vehicles has been reduced to 10,000 rupees per kilowatt hour from 15,000 rupees per kilowatt hour. Industry sources say the reduction in subsidy could lead to electric two-wheeler prices rising in the range of 11,000 to 30,000 rupees in some cases. With all EV companies evaluating price hikes, what does this mean for the sector going forward and EV adoption? To discuss this and much more, we have with us Anshul Gupta, Managing Director at Okaya EV. This is a company which receives subsidies under the FAME scheme of the government. We also have Shamsher Dewan, Senior Vice President at ICRA. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Anshul Gupta, let me begin by asking you, are you disappointed with this move by the government to reduce the subsidy outlay per electric two-wheeler?
Parikshit, it was very well expected that this subsidy had to taper down eventually, right? When the FAME 1 scheme was announced, then the FAME 2. So they had a target set of 10 lakh vehicles being sold, and proudly all of us in the industry have managed to do that. So it was very much expected. It is just that the way it is done is also very good. It's been tapered down rather than just discontinuing it. When the mark was met, the government came up with an opportunity and a plan, just to slowly bring it down by reducing the incentives rather than just slashing it to zero. So I think it's been done fairly greatly as of now.
All right. Let me go across to Shamsher Dewan. Shamsher Dewan, do you get a sense that this increase in prices, is it going to slow down EV adoption, or you think the market has matured enough to understand that EVs are beneficial, EVs are cost-friendly, and EVs are good for environment?
I think certainly if the OEMs take a decision to completely pass on the impact of reduced subsidy to the end customers, it will certainly impact the end price for the consumers. And based on certain estimates that we have, today the payback period on a total cost of ownership for electric two-wheelers with the current FAME 2 subsidy mechanism is close to about 3 years. This is for the premium end of the segment. Now with the reduced subsidy, and if the OEMs pass on the impact, the payback period will increase to about 5 years. And the initial cost of ownership will also go up. So yes, to some extent, it will slow down the impact of EV penetration in the electric two-wheeler segment. Our earlier expectations were, if the FAME 2 subsidy regime was to continue, then by FY 2025, which is next fiscal, the industry would have seen a penetration of close to about 13 to 15%. And with the new framework, I think it should reduce to about 10 to 12% penetration by FY 25.
All right. So you're saying that it will have a slight impact. If the penetration would have reached 13 to 15% for electric two-wheelers next year, it would now come down to about 10 to 11%. Anshul Gupta, coming to you, have you decided on what kind of price increase or how much of the price hikes are you going to pass on to the customer as a result of this reduction in subsidy?
So yeah, we have been working out the entire pricing strategy. A lot of it depends on the competition as well, but the way we have figured out is that anywhere from ranging from 20,000 up to 45,000, we are expecting the consumer prices to go up on different models. However, obviously we have absorbed a lot of the cost that we could absorb as a manufacturer. And this will also, instill us to come up with new product ranges, new products which are sort of keeping the balance of the price, and at the same time coming up, with models which can serve of purpose to the people as well. So a lot of engineering work now will begin to take the product to the next level. So as of now, we've done both the things to offer to the market.
So Anshul, you're contemplating a price increase of anywhere between 25 to 45,000, depending on your model range?
Correct. So since the model prices and model offerings are various, so it will go from 20,000 up to 45,000 and the top end model. So and we have started to announce it to the consumers, and that is why probably buying an EV two-wheeler right now is the best time, whether it's us or our product or somebody else's. But this is right now, of the next 8 days, it's going to be the best time to buy EVs. two-wheelers specifically.
Right. Right. Also, Shamsher Dewan, coming to you, while the government has not yet come out with the exact contours of where this money is coming from within the FAME scheme, our understanding is that 2,000 crores, which was allocated under the 10,000 crore outlay for electric two-wheelers, has almost exhausted. The additional 1,500 crores under the FAME 2 scheme is being diverted from electric three-wheelers into the e-two-wheeler segment. What is your sense and how this will impact the electric three-wheeler segment?
Your guess is as good as mine. I think this is what we have also heard. I think the current notification does not specifically mention that where is this 1,500 crores coming from. But sources say that yes, this is the part of reallocation within the 10,000 crores under part of FAME 2, overall framework.
Right. In terms of further extending, the government so far, from what we understand, that this increased outlay for electric two-wheelers is till February 2024. The scheme expires in March. When we spoke to the Heavy Industries Minister, Shamsher, he said that all options are open when it comes to supporting electric mobility beyond March. In case this FAME scheme is not extended, if there is no new FAME scheme, how will that impact EV prices? By what percentage do you think we could see price increases? And how will that impact adoption if there is no subsidy?
So if you look at the current pricing parity between petrol-based two-wheelers and electric two-wheelers in the premium category, in the current scheme of things, the difference is about 15 to 20%. But with the new FAME 2 subsidy, which will roll out from 1st of June, the difference will go up to between 40 to 50%. But if the FAME 2 subsidy completely goes away from, let's say, February or March of 2024, the price gap will further increase. At that point in time, I think it will be a differential between what is the total cost of ownership between petrol versus the electric two-wheelers. And our sense is that, at that point in time, the impact will largely have to be borne by the OEMs to the extent of the operating leverage benefits which will come in, plus the localization impact. As you know, OEMs have been working on various initiatives to bring down the cost of manufacturing, the BOM cost, as it's generally known. And they're working towards localizing many of the key components, whether it is the electric motor, the battery cell pack, and other things. And over the next couple of years, many of the companies will also start manufacturing battery cells in India, not the essentially all the two-wheeler OEMs, but the other manufacturers who are in the process of setting up capacities. So perhaps by 2026 onwards, you will see that the battery cells will also start getting localized. And that is the time when we feel that, the cost of electric two-wheelers will further come down. If you kind of draw a parallel to what has happened, let's say in other markets, particularly China, therein, the subsidy mechanism has continued for a fairly long period of time. It's been, I think, almost 10 to 11 years that the subsidies have been offered, and they have been cut down in a very gradual manner.
Right. Let me go back to Anshul Gupta. Anshul, we have been always hearing that currently electric vehicle makers and even established OEMs are making losses per vehicle. They're not yet close to breaking even when it comes to EVs. Give us a sense, with this reduction in subsidy, will the loss per vehicle go up, and does the path to profitability also get longer?
So this is a very tricky, it's something which is there for, all the OEMs, and it seems to be, it's going to be slightly tricky. However, that's where the engineering, that's where the, localization projects, that's where everything, everything starts to make sense. When you talk about reducing your fixed cost, getting your, right product into the market, which hits the consumers pretty well with, the offtake as well. So I feel that the business is going to go through a big, rapid transition where a lot of consolidation of competition might happen. And at the same time, businesses would have to relook at the total cost structures that are there in the companies and come up with a better engineered product, which are, without profit, nobody can sustain. So yes, at the first cut, if things are status quo within a company, then yes, road to profit is going to go further ahead. But when a company decides to restructure itself, I think it's not that hard as well. So, subsidies came in with the perspective of
Right.
aiding the consumer to get the awareness going. And I think that has been fairly done with the 10 lakh mark that has been achieved in the two-wheeler segment. Now, rest something the
Right.
OEM also has to do, and the partners who are involved in the entire ecosystem. Together, everybody has to work in order to make this a profitable business for everyone. And at the
Anshul,
same
very
time,
quickly,
making it
one final question. One final question before we wrap. Are you also cutting back on production starting 1st of June because of the decline in subsidy?
So not really. I would say as of now, no, there's no plan to reduce production or anything. But the kind of response we've got from our partners and dealers, and the kind of consumer inquiries we have on board, I think we're pretty much stable with that. We're not taking any immediate decision just basis on the information that has come out. But since our pipeline and pre-orders with the consumers are good, and we are sort of settled for the next 2 months, so I don't think there's a challenge for us as of now.
Okay. All right. Anshul Gupta, Shamsher Dewan, thank you very much for joining us here on News Center. With that, it's a wrap on this program. More news and updates continue right here on CNBC TV18.